All right. We need video, huh? Let's see. There's Chris. Okay.
I'm going to go blank for a little bit while I eat some dinner.
Go for it.
That's totally what I'm doing too. Just on my name here.
Amy's pad thai.
Nice.
All right, so we're now not muted. They can hear us.
Oh, people keep jumping around.
Yeah, quit jumping around, Cher.
Yeah.
That was Dan Taylor speaking, not Jeffrey.
I know. I
You know,
can see
yeah.
him.
Oh, good. Let's see here.
Okay. Hey, James, we forgot to ask you what you like to be called. We have another James on the board. So we usually
just
call
fine.
him Jimmy.
No, you can call me James or whatever. That works fine.
You go by James?
Yeah, that
Is
works.
that okay, Jimmy? You're muted. We can't hear you. But he looks like he's laughing.
I tried this one.
No.
Okay,
There you go.
so Cher, can you give me the ability to share my screen, please?
You're sharing. Let's see. We learned how to do that today. Should I leave it at one participant can share at a time?
Sir Jeffrey.
I guess.
Okay.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Hello, James. Hi,
How you
Jerry.
doing, man?
Good, good, good. Thank you.
It says you can share.
Okay, but I can't.
Oh, all participants. Sorry, I got it. Okay, I got it. But only one can share at a time. It's going to get too confusing. Okay,
Could be more than this.
great. Wow. We got a bunch of people. Yay.
That's one. That's it, 3 times what? It's 12. Another 12. Okay.
Okay, well, it's 7 o'clock. Let's get this meeting rolling. And I will start out. Welcome. This is actually our second Zoom annual meeting. We didn't really know what we were doing last year. We're a little bit better this year. And we got the word out a few times. And we have a lot to do tonight. We have board member leaving, and we have board members to meet, and we have new board members to vote in. And we have a treasurer's report. We have a budget for you to approve. And let's get started with our guest speaker. Tonight is Dan Taylor. Yay.
Hey, why would I be the first speaker and put everybody to sleep here? I think Aubrey asked if we could do a brief history of the Volcano Long Range Plan?
Yeah, you know what? Sorry, Dan, I'll
Yeah.
give you a brief intro. For those of you who don't know Dan Taylor, he has been an area resident for 35 years. Did I get that right?
Or so, yeah.
Or so. Formerly worked with the park and had a lot to do with the Volcano Long Range Plan, which currently exists on the VCA website for anyone who wants to have a look at that. We asked Dan to speak tonight because he knows everything. And he remains very passionate about this plan, and a lot of work went into it. And I know that the Volcano Community Association going into 2022 is making it a priority to revisit and to hopefully get this ratified by the county and have it become a working document that guides all future development in our area, which is much needed, as we can see with a lot of the changes that are happening right before our eyes right now. So Dan, I want to thank you for all of your leadership and work over the past,
Well,
I think you guys worked for a decade on that, and we're really excited to take it forward. So why don't you just give us a little history and, you know, kind of how it came about and where we're going to go from here with it.
Well, thank you, Aubrey. I'm very pleased to
If
get
you've
that
got
introduction.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, you've got to time me.
No.
Oh, longer than that, we'll put you all to sleep. But this, Aubrey's right. There's a passion we had about this, but I'm not responsible as responsible as Aubrey just indicated. There was already a plan in place. It was called Vision 2020, created by people before me, including Jeffrey to my right. What's her name? Cindy Wenner, who was at our meeting the other day, and
He's here
several other people.
today.
Yeah, Cindy there. I don't see her anywhere. Anyway, there are a lot of people who came long before we did. What happened was Vision 2020 didn't seem to have legs, and nobody seemed to care. In fact, I didn't even know about it. I was sitting at, as mentioned to some of you, at the deli one day, minding my own business, and who should show up but two of our county council people, Brenda Ford and Brittany Smart. And they just kind of passing by and stopped at the deli and said, well, how's everything going? And I sort of knew Brenda. I said, fine. But, and then she asked what, you know, what's happening in the community. And I said, well, not much, which was true at the time. And asked what she was doing there with another council person. And they said, well, we're just trying to find something the community wants. And they asked an incidental person, random person, you know, what does the community want? And he said, well, we'd like to have something that makes it safe to cross the highway. And so Brenda and Brittany linked on that, said, well, there we go. That's something we can do for the community. And she said, well, Dan, what do you think about that? And I said, well, you know, that's a great idea, Brenda, but we're now talking about revitalizing an old plan. And we've got some ideas about priorities that you may not know about yet. And I mentioned a couple of them, one being that make improvements on the transfer station. And the other was to think about, you know, providing a healthcare service in Volcano. And we didn't even think about a village design plan. We didn't even mention that, but she was surprised that there was some kind of thing going on in the community that talked about the future. So she became, what Brenda Ford became interested. And for the rest of her term, which was another 2 or 3 years, she was very engaged and approachable and very helpful on the council. Well, we just then went ahead with the plan. The things that were on our mind at the time, I was still working in the park, was why isn't the park and the community, why aren't they engaged? Why don't these two entities connect? And so we thought the proper connection would be to remind the park that they are actually a very important park in this park system called International Biosphere Reserve. And International Biosphere Reserves actually promote the idea of community and park connections to make the two blend, not conflict, not, you know, be in opposition, but blend. And in various parts of the world, Australia and New Zealand particularly, national parks and communities work very closely together. So we thought, well, why not? Why not for Volcano? We've got a very supportive community. We've got a community who cares about the forest. We've got a national park who's got the community in their back pocket if they want it. And so let's start. Let's start on that with that idea, and we did, and began promoting the idea of an international of linking the community to the park as if it were part of the International Biosphere Reserve. And all that meant was to make sure there's no conflict in the boundary between the community and the park. In other words, the community's forest is the park's forest, and the park's forest is the community's forest. And you'll go from the park, out of the park toward Hilo on a very gradual gradient of land uses. You won't go from the park into an industrial area. You'll go from the park through a rural community, and then maybe through ranch lands, and maybe then through small communities, and then to Hilo. The whole idea is to make that gradient possible. That was the idea of a biosphere reserve, sort of, very briefly. Well, nobody, or very few people in the community seem to care about that. So we then moved on to other things. And so, well, what's important to us? How should we do this? You know, I had some experience in planning through my work in the National Park Service. And there are a lot of people in the community who knew about this sort of stuff. And we began talking. And pretty soon began to pull together the key players, what we call the stakeholders in the community. Who are the important people here who care about this thing? So we started talking to our council person, Brenda Ford, and Brittany Smart, who's living in Ka'u. And we began talking to planners in the county planning office, particularly Larry Brown, who's now retired, and the planning director. And his name at that time was Dwayne Kanuha. He's no longer with us, but the planning department was interested, said, yeah, go for it. Well, at that time, the county had promoted what's called a Puna Community Development Plan. Somewhere I have it, here it is. The Puna Community Development Plan. And that became the kind of the gold standard for the county. This was a county regional plan for Puna. It was not a community plan for Volcano. It had dealt with the greater Puna. And it had elements in there that talked about communities, but very scant reference to any details. In the Puna Community Development Plan, Volcano consisted of 2 or 3 pages of that plan. Pahoa consisted of maybe 4 or 5 pages. Ao and other places were much more detailed, but the Puna Community Development Plan was essentially silent with respect to Volcano. It talked about the historical values, the cultural values of Volcano, and thought that 2 or 3 block-long strip of commercial buildings on the old Volcano Highway might be it. Well, we thought, yeah, that's a good idea, but Volcano is a lot bigger than that. The county had kind of an idea that Volcano might just be a cluster of bridge clubs and yoga groups and prayer groups, and we might occasionally do something, but it wasn't really, the county people, county bureaucrats really didn't know there was a community here that was vibrant like the one that really is, even though there were county employees living here among us. Well, I'm trying to make this in 5 minutes, Chair, I'm sorry. But we thought, well, let's pull together the stakeholders, National Park on one hand, community leaders on the other hand, county officials, both in the planning department and in county council, and see what we want to do. So using first of all, the Vision 2020 as a framework, and going to the Puna Community Development Plan for a format, we got started and began having meetings among those people who we thought were the stakeholders. And at first there was a lot of interest. We get 30, 40 people at a meeting, and each meeting there were fewer and fewer and fewer. And after a couple of years, there might be 2 or 3 people at these meetings. And so the interest really kind of dropped off because people were bored with the planning process. And that was unfortunate because it's really fascinating. But some of us stuck together, particularly, Pat Hopper is one in particular, and a couple of other people who moved away since then. Yeah, I'm Jeffrey's pumping with the right names, Jeffrey being one, Lorna Yeta Larson, another person, but there were several people who kept, and Cher, you kept with it, and we began putting together some ideas. In the end, we developed a format that connected the long-range planning idea with the Puna Community Development Plan. And the suggestion for that connection was really important. I can't remember her last name now, but there was a former planning director who joined us for a couple of meetings. Virginia, she has a Germanic last name, a local woman. Her name was Virginia, very, very helpful, really knowledgeable. And she's the one who guided us to make this connection between the community plan and the regional plan. Really important to remember that. So these two documents, the Puna Community Development Plan, which is regional, and the Volcano Long Range Plan, which is community-centric, needed to be connected, and we did that. And so we wrote a plan under that format. And among other things, after maybe 50 or 60 meetings in the Cooper Center, we came up with this document that you see in the website, the community website. You will notice at the very end of that document, page 81, I believe it is, the very last thing is a kind of a summary, the historical summary of the things we did. It is really just a listing of meetings and maybe some of the purposes of these meetings. But the real history, to be honest with you, the real history are the connections we made with other people in the community, how we came up with priorities, and who were important players and who weren't. And at the very end, we thought that we presented the community with an implementable document called the not very sexy name, the Volcano Long Range Plan. Everybody called it VLRP. And it wasn't the most famous term in the community. It wasn't the most favorite term in the community because people had become kind of tired of it and bored with it, but it was there. And so we presented this 80-page plan to the Volcano Community Association about 2015 or so. Handed them the plan saying, look, this is implementable now. You've got a list of priorities, a bunch of them, 15 or so, in priority order. Let's get it going. That I've done, we've done what we can do by presenting a plan. Now it's your job to implement. Well, it kind of went from there to a shelf where it's been sitting for a few years. Thanks to this new board, and particularly to you, Aubrey, it's come back to life. And I can't tell you how gratified I am to see that beginning to happen. And also to warn you that I have no intention of doing any more grunt work on this thing, but I'm extremely happy to be asked questions, to pretend to be emeritus, this and that. And I'm available for any questions or any other kind of background you need to have, but good luck with it because it's your plan. It's ready to implement. My suggestion to you is to do two things. One is bring it up to date because it's about 10 years old now, and reestablish connections with the key players. And the key players are the planning department people, particularly April Supernaut down there, and whoever else is working on community plans, if anybody. The planning director, guy's name is Zendel Kern. And to be very honest with you, my experience with Zendel was that he's completely indifferent about community plans. So he may not be a really red hot source of help for you, but your county council person. And that happens to be Miley David right now. That may change. And this guy Kleinhofer down in the district below us, even though he's not in Volcano, would also be, I think, a very important person to get to know. And the national park. And the national park has not shown a whole lot of interest in the community plan ever. We could never get a park person to come to our meetings, but you need to go to them. Rhonda Lowe's the superintendent. Go to her, and Rhonda knows us. Go to her and say, look, the plan, the park is mentioned, you're our neighbor, you're our biggest neighbor. We want to create a nice approach to you guys. We don't want you to want visitors coming in the park to see a bunch of squat and gobble restaurants along the highway as you're coming in. Those kind of end down somewhere around Curtistown. But from Curtistown and Mountain View on up, keep it green, keep it green. Don't let commercial stuff come into the highway corridor. You're going to ruin the entrance to the park if you do that. And the reason I say that is it's happened to every other park that I know about. Grand Canyon, Yosemite, Great Smoky Mountains, Lassen, every park you go to, people go through these squat and gobble strips before they get into the park. And it just kind of sets a bad tone and it makes the community look like hell. So try to work on that as you deal with the park. Get it in the plan because it's not really there. And start to put some of these pieces back together. Particularly pay attention to what's happening in the surrounding subdivisions. So the leaders of these subdivisions, whoever they are, and it's a varied bunch, and some are pretty good, and some don't care, but try to make some connections with them, particularly with the subdivisions real close to you, like Montalona Estates and golf course. Okay, 5 minutes up.
Thank you
Any
so
questions?
much, Dan. That was
My pleasure.
awesome. Does anyone have any questions for Dan?
Yeah, later rather than now.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
then we can continue with the meeting. And if you want to put your questions in chat, I'll monitor that.
Or give me a call. I'd love to stay in touch with you, Aubrey, through the VCA. That's probably
Okay.
the right connection is you
Okay.
connect me if you need something, but I won't
Sounds
come and
good.
talk to you. Okay, great. And
Thank you
for,
very much.
well, thank you for taking this on. Good for you.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Dan. Really
Pleasure.
appreciate that. And I'm sure this is a project Aubrey will continue for 2022. It'll be very important this year. Unfortunately, I will be leaving the board, but I can still work on projects if you need me.
Emeritus, yeah.
Okay. Well, next on the agenda is our treasurer's report. Jimmy Buck is going to talk about our expenses and our finances from last year. And we'll also present our budget for this year.
That's a really good summary.
Hi, can everybody hear me okay?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Okay, so right now I'm showing you the profit and loss statement for 2021. And bottom line is we spent $915 more than we made. But because we didn't have the parade, that saved us substantial monies. We were able to give that away to various nonprofits. So out of a total of $15,243 in income, we were able to contribute $73.91 to charities. So that was pretty good.
That was amazing, Jimmy, because this was a COVID year last year and we didn't have visitors at the beginning of the year until we got the vaccinations going. It was very slow.
Yeah, and then we had an unusual expense because Aubrey and Crystal put together a new Building in the Forest brochure. It only cost us $650 because Crystal donated her time. And so it probably would have cost, $3,000 or $5,000. I don't know what it would have cost, but we saved quite a bit of money thanks to her generosity. And we were able to put out a really nice new brochure that we can be proud of. So the next thing I want to show you is the budget that I've prepared for 2022. No drastic changes, but I'm hopeful that COVID will subside a little bit and we can get maybe a 7 or 8% increase in revenues. So if we can, on the bottom left side of the screen, you can see what we're projecting for total income. Most of our money comes from the sale of t-shirts and hats and so forth. About $3,500 a year comes from membership dues and donations. So out of that, we'll budget $1,200 for the 4th of July parade. And hopefully we'll be able to give away $6,500 to local charities. As of the end of the year, top right side, we had almost 11,000 in cash and 3,700 in inventory. So they're continuing down the page. You can see a list of all of the people that receive contributions from us, with the Volcano School probably being the biggest recipient. Our accomplishments include the Halloween trunk or treat event and handling the 5th of July children's games. Of course, redesigning and doing the Building in the Forest brochure. Testifying against rezoning application on Old Volcano Road. That was just recently. Aubrey was instrumental in that. And we did an Earth Day giveaway of Koa and Miley that really helped bring in a lot of members. And it was good to plant a few trees too. So we'd like to expand on that this coming year. Anybody have any questions about any of this stuff? If anybody would like to have a copy of the financial statements, I'd be happy to email it to you. It's available to anybody, public information. So be happy to supply it to you. That's all I got.
Thank you, Jody. Yeah, in a COVID year, even in 2020, where we had a really hard time fundraising because Cooper Center was closed for the first 3 or 4 months of the year. Yet we still had money, a little money we gave to the COVID relief fund at the school up here. So we're aware of what's going on, but we appreciate people talking to us and letting us know what's needed. Okay, well, since we have the budget and we were looking at it, could we do a vote right now? Okay.
I move that we accept the 2022 budget as shown.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Not a member of the. No, I'm not.
Daniel says aye.
Okay,
Can I vote? Can I vote? I'm not.
you are a member.
Oh, okay, yeah, of course.
I know you are.
Thank you, Jim. I didn't mean to leave you out. I just doing.
Okay.
Go.
Okay, I assume everyone else agrees. I can't see everybody's vote, but if you have a comment or anything, just, okay, Cheryl has a hand up. Okay, unmute.
Oh, I was just voting yes.
Okay, thank you. Marcia?
Yeah, just voting yes.
Okay, and Jody voted yes. Thumbs up. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Okay. All right, moving along. Okay, our current board of directors, my name is Cher Glass. I should have introduced myself. I'm sorry. But I am leaving the board this year. This is my 3rd year, and it's actually my third year of being on the board. So we have some people that will come back sometimes after being on the board. You can only be on the board for 3 years, and you can take a year off and then you can come back again. They don't want anybody to monopolize the whole thing, I guess. And you can't do that as a president. You can't monopolize because we vote on everything. So everyone has an equal vote. All right. We have, of course, Aubrey. Where'd she go? Aubrey Hawk. Okay, she's our secretary. Chris Corley. Chris Corley is our vice president. James Buck. He is our assistant treasurer. He does all the reports and taxes for us. He's really, really good at that. Ida Geiger isn't here tonight, but she has voted. And there's Daniel Morimoto.
Hi, Cher.
He's our board member. Who am I missing? Mahi Snell is a director. She's in transit. She's on her way back from the mainland, we believe. So she couldn't be on the Zoom. She's probably on the plane right now. Okay, so we have 7 members on the board. That is a minimum. So I'm leaving, so you'll have 6. We have 3 new board members nominated. We have James Morgan. Okay. Scott, is it Fossil? Okay. I'm sorry, where am I? I can't find her. Oh, Crystal, there she is. Crystal Meisel. There we go. Okay. Aubrey, do you want to introduce them to the board? I can introduce Scott. Scott is an enthusiastic new resident of Volcano Village, along with his artist wife and 2 kids who attend Volcano School of Arts and Sciences. Scott has an interdisciplinary background in philosophy, sustainability, innovation, and development, and grew up in a family that emphasized strong community engagement, historic preservation, and a deep love of nature. He is excited to give back to the Volcano community as a steward of its future. Yay. Can you take over, Aubrey, or do you have the?
Yes,
You have it?
but one second.
Why don't you introduce Crystal?
Only because I am not looking at the.
The bios are on the page, the voting page.
The
on
annual
website.
meeting page. Okay, sorry, guys. All right, Crystal Meisel, whom Jimmy was talking about earlier, who helped us just so unbelievably with the new Building in the Forest brochure. Crystal is the co-founder of the Hawaii Lit Production Company, which is a women-led company focused on healing through storytelling. Crystal's professional experience represents a confluence of photography, design, education, and nonprofit management. She is eager to leverage her skills to support consensus building and communication. And then shall I go ahead and do James Morgan?
Okay.
Okay. James is a transplant from Vermont. He moved here 6 years ago, and he's been a happy resident of Volcano ever since. His interests are in soil microbiology, holistic health, farming, and land practices that preserve the quality of the Aina and the environment. He is certified in soil biology assessment, and he's licensed in massage therapy. He looks forward to advocating for the sustainable development of Volcano Village community for the future to come.
Great. Okay, these 3 have been nominated by the board. Are there any more nominations? If not, let's vote. All in favor of our new board members, raise a hand.
And Cher, do we need to I'll also let everyone know that you actually do need to vote, right, on the website? Or?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Please do.
So I just put the link in the chat if everyone can access that at the bottom of your screen. If not, you can just go to the VCA, Volcano Community Association website, and you'll see a button on the top right that just says vote
Vote
here.
That'll take you to
and-
the page to
yeah.
vote. And a lot of this information we're giving you is on the webpage.
So should everyone do that right now?
No, they can do it later. That's okay.
All right.
I don't have anything else. Did you want to go over, Aubrey, about future endeavors for VCA or?
Sure,
outlook?
I could talk about that a little bit. So I mentioned earlier that we're looking to refocus on the Volcano Long Range Plan and getting that officially ratified by the County Planning Department so that it is an actual working document that guides the future development of Volcano Village. In particular, it calls for a volcano special design district for our quote business corridor, which is that 1 mile plus stretch along Old Volcano Road, which currently has our post office and the Kilauea Lodge and the Volcano Art Center. This design district would allow for certain design guidelines so that we don't end up with, a Starbucks and a lot of big billboards and neon signs and all kinds of things, that we would make sure that we were doing any future development sensitively, that it would benefit the community and also benefit our visitor community, which we are very well aware is sort of the lifeblood of Volcano Village. So we want to make sure we do that intelligently and sensitively. And other elements of the Volcano Long Range Plan include making provisions for for healthcare here in the village, and a few other things that are listed as priorities. We will be looking to update that, and then, as Dan suggested, we have a subcommittee who's going to be going out and reinforcing those connections with the various allies in the community, the Park Service, the Planning Department, the subdivisions of Volcano, and just really make sure we've got all kinds of buy-in, and then get that established. I think a lot of us have who live here have seen what is going on. I feel like it started happening really at an increased pace during COVID. A lot of people just finally going, yeah, now is the time. I am moving to that little paradise on the mountain over there. And we all love it here because of our forests and because of the really kind of isolated but very community oriented nature of things here. But we need to be careful, because the more people that move here and kind of go willy-nilly with their land clearing and so forth, we will destroy what we have. So I'm feeling a lot of sense of urgency to make sure that the development that happens here over the next 10 years or even more is done in a way that maintains our forest canopy for the native birds, and just sort of the sense of place. That's an overused term, but the sense of place for Volcano Village and the park. So that's going to be a priority going forward. And then Jimmy mentioned that we'd really like to do our 4th of July parade this year after a 2-year hiatus. And I'm hopeful that we can do that and really show our pride and have a sort of a gathering for our community again after all this time. We are, continuing to sell our amazing t-shirts, and want to thank Karen Lobel-Fried, our local artist, who donates her work, and which is really our, it's kind of our trademark. I'm wearing, I don't know if you can see it, but this is her design, and this is a stunning shirt. And people are wearing it all over the world. So, so we're going to continue doing that, and we may even be introducing another design this year for a fresh look. Always looking for new members. Another goal of ours is to increase our membership. I'd love to see that double. and just really get a lot more community input and action as we kind of crawl out of this time of COVID here. I think that's about it. Did I miss anything?
Any more comments from the board, first of all? Are all quiet, okay. Any comments or questions from our members here? Now's your chance. Wow. Okay, so I encourage you all to go to volcanocommunity.org. Press on the button that says vote here. That will take you to the voting page for this year. And it's very simple, just follow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're done. I want to thank you, everyone. Thank Dan for talking for us. Thank you, my board. I'm kind of saying aloha to my board. I'm going to miss you guys. The board needs to stay online, please, because you need to vote for your new officers. Okay, Aubrey? If the board could
Okay.
stay online.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Jody. Okay. No more questions.
Thank you, Cher, for your wonderful service.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
We wouldn't be the same without you.
Yeah, I won't be far. I'm always around.
May I just thank everyone? Can anyone hear me?
Yep.
Sure. Is that
Yes.
Marcia?
Cool. Yeah, I want to thank Cher, of course, for all your years of service to the community with the association. I want to thank all the board members, current, past, and the future. So glad to see Scott, James, and Crystal stepping in. Thank you so much, Aubrey and Chris. And sorry if I missed any of the others. James, of course. So mahalo nui. I really appreciate all that you all do for our community.
Is that
Thank
you,
you,
Marcia?
Mahalo. Yes.
That's you. Okay.
Yes,
Sorry.
thanks. Take care. Aloha.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Aloha.
Thank you. That was sweet.
Yeah. So I guess Jeffrey and Dan and Cindy, I'm not sure if she's actually even there, but you guys could log off and we'll continue our board session.
Board meeting.
Thank you, Aubrey.
Good night.
Thank you, Sheriff, for years and years of service. And thank you for all the current directors and the new ones. Best of luck. And the cause couldn't be better. Right? All right.
Jeffrey, we're gonna need you in July.
Around. I'll be here. Far as I know.
Can you sing?
No. Anything
You
but.
sent a few parades, for sure.
Good night, you all. Mahalo.
Good night.
Aloha. Mahalo.
So Cher, we can release Crystal and James and Scott, yeah? Or do they
Oh.
stay on?
No, they should stay, because you're
Oh, okay.
voting. You're gonna vote
Okay.
on officers, right?
All right, great.
Yeah, you guys are the new board. You're
Oh,
here.
well, I didn't know that that was actually, okay. They got voted in?
voted in.
Welcome, congratulations, yay. It's official, okay.
Always, yes.
Okay, so how does this part work?
I think
Well,
you
I'd
guys
like to
talked
nominate-
about it. You
I'd
guys
like to
talked about it.
nominate Aubrey as the president.
Okay,
I second that. I think I can do that now.
Okay, we had one from Scott and one from James the second.
I agree.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You okay, Aubrey?
yep.
Okay,
Do I vote too? I guess I accept.
you can. Whatever.
Awesome.
Okay, so press. Okay,
So I'd like to nominate Jimmy Buck as vice president.
I
okay,
second.
all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Thank you, Daniel. I see you. How now, we do need secretary. I guess we really definitely need Jimmy to stay as,
Assistant treasurer.
yeah. And Ida said she would continue as treasurer, right?
Right, right. Scott
Anything-
did offer to be secretary at your last meeting,
Okay.
unless
Do
someone
you-
else is willing.
Do you remember that, Scott?
do, I would say, the offer still stands, so.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, I move that Scott
Or
be
Crystal
nominated.
might be willing too. There's two of you.
Okay, well. Crystal has a full-time job.
Oh,
I don't know. Scott, do you?
I'm a jack of all trades, as I said, I have.
Okay,
multiple-
so that's more than full-time.
I'll find the time, it's no problem, so.
Okay, terrific. Then I'll move that Scott Fossil be named our secretary.
I'll second.
all in favor?
I,
I can't vote.
Do we need to ratify Ida?
Yeah,
We have to re-elect her.
I think you
Okay.
do.
So I move that we vote for Ida as our treasurer.
I second.
All in
Okay.
favor?
I,
Yeah, I'm sorry
Aye.
she couldn't be here today. Thank you, Daniel.
Ida does a great job.
are there any other officer positions? That's it, right?
Those are the main ones. I mean, we
Okay.
have the treasurer who does the banking, the deposits, and handles the money. And then Jimmy has been doing the reports and taxes. What is that called?
I
Our
can
treasurer's
continue
report.
doing
really.
that.
Great. He does a good job. Well, it's up to you, Madam President, whether you want to discuss committees or anything, or just set up the next board meeting maybe. For
Okay,
that, or have like an organizational meeting.
Yeah, I would like to set our next board meeting. We were talking about, I know that the Kipuka room at Kilauea Lodge is available and I love meeting there. They have very graciously offered to let us use that room once a month. I know that Mahi said she cannot meet on Wednesdays. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
Wait, let me just tell my peanut gallery to,
And Chris, you can't meet on the third Thursday, right?
I can't meet on the third Wednesday,
Wednesday, okay, so,
right? If we're not going to be meeting at the Cooper Center, could we meet on Monday?
Well, that's a good day for the lodge because they're closed anyway, so.
yeah.
but it would have to be at 3 o'clock. We'd have to be out by 5.
Does that work for everyone? 3
Works
o'clock
for me.
on,
Temporarily, maybe.
okay.
So which Monday?
Was it we've been doing the third, right? The third Monday? Or was it the first Monday?
The-
Sure.
It was the third Monday, which is, was yesterday.
Okay.
So, but you really need to meet either the next Monday or the Monday after is the 31st, because you don't have a calendar yet set up for the table for February.
Okay,
You
all
should
right.
Probably get together and talk about doing the table before that.
Okay.
And
Would
Mahi will
you-
have some of that work done too.
Would you all be available then to do our January board meeting on the 24th? And then we'll talk about reverting to the third Thursday after that?
That would be 3 PM at the Kilauea Lodge downstairs on the left. It's called the Kipuka Room. Well, Scott knows where it is.
Sure.
Yeah, and
next
James was
Monday,
there, and Crystal, you know where it
Yeah.
is.
Yes, James was there.
Okay.
Yep, I was there.
Okay, that's great. I'll send out a reminder for everyone and get an agenda going.
And I will talk
And-
to Janet,
Yeah, okay.
she's in charge of that room.
Okay,
Hopefully the bathroom will be available, but be aware that we might not be able to use their bathroom if they're
Okay.
renting out that space.
I can hold it for an hour.
Yeah, our board meetings are usually very concise.
Yeah, we try to keep it to an hour, hour and a half max. Yeah, I'll run a tight ship as well as I can. Anything else, you guys? I'm really excited to start this year with you all and with Cher's guidance, because we're going to need you, Cher. Like, I don't know how we work with Cooper Center and what oh, hi, kitty. That's an adorable cat, Jimmy. Just kind of what's the best way to work with Linda Ugalde and any other landmines I should be aware of. Working with you on the voice and all that. Oh, everybody's got their babies. So, great. Okay, so I'm looking forward to seeing you all in less than a week in person.
One more warning. Linda Ugalde is the president of Cooper Center Council. She has warned the board that if you're going to reserve a night at a meeting day or night, you need to let them know soon, because they're going to start reserving regular days again. We had a problem with we can't pick Mondays anymore. Monday seems to be the best time for us.
Yeah.
But she offered Wednesday, Thursday, or Sunday.
Okay. We can talk about that at our next meeting. I
Right.
think, though, we have time. And did she say why we can't have Mondays? I forget.
They're
Because
closed.
they're closed.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
It's
Oh, right. That's Henry's
only
one day off.
Yeah,
Okay.
Henry had to make a special trip down there just to let us in.
Okay.
And they don't give out the numbers anymore to
Fair
let
enough.
ourselves in.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
All
you,
right.
everybody.
Aloha, everyone.
You,
I'm
Aloha.
thrilled you've joined us, Crystal and James and Scott. I'm very excited. And thank you to the continuing board members as well, Daniel and Chris and Mahi and Ida, who aren't here. We'll have a great year.
yeah.
Great meeting. Thank you.
Okay, aloha.
Aloha.